can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave. It's on you to make sure that further damage, further loss of life and injury is not done.
Good morning, pineapples, you magnificent dissidents, you ungovernable rebels, you lovers of liberty, enemies of the state. Welcome to Wake Up America. I'm Austin Petersen. If you're watching this, welcome to the Rebel Army. Glad and thankful to have you here today. Today is Thursday, January the 8th, 2026. Let me tell you, the empire is striking back. If you looked out your window this morning, you might have seen the sun rising, but if you looked at the headlines, you saw the twilight of the American city. See, the ruling class is in panic mode, and when the ruling class panics, people get hurt. We have a hell of a show for you today. We're going to take a tour of the asylum. First stop, Minneapolis, or as I'm calling it these days, the autonomous zone of delusion. By now, you've probably seen the video. A woman in a Honda Pilot decided to play a game of chicken with the federal government. She thought that her politics were a force field. She thought that the resistance gave her superpowers, but she found out the hard way that physics is the only law that cannot be repealed. They're screaming police brutality. I'm calling this what it is. Suicide by ideology. Mayor Jacob Frey told her to fight. Tim Walz told her she was a hero. And now she's a statistic. So we're going to break down the footage. We're going to look at the receipts. And we're going to expose the politicians who have blood on their hands. But wait, there's more. While the left is burning down the cities, the right is trying to burn down your bank account. Mitt Romney, the man, the myth, the emptiness in a suit, has emerged from his cave to offer a solution to the national debt. And guess what his solution is? Is it stop spending money? Is it end the wars? No, his solution is take more of your money. He wrote an op-ed calling for a massive tax hike on the middle class while protecting his own private equity millions. It's the ultimate ladder pull. He climbed to the top, and now he wants to grease the rungs so you can't follow him. So we're going to dissect his betrayal, and we're going to show you why the establishment GOP is just the Democrat Party driving the speed limit. But as always, I promise you I won't give you always just the black pill. I promise you I won't complain. I promise you solutions. And today we have the ultimate solution. So while Washington is plotting to steal your paycheck, here in the free state of Missouri, we're plotting to tell them to go to hell. Joining me in the second hour of the show today is the woman who haunts the nightmares of the tax collector. Camellia Peterson from Americans for Prosperity is here and in studio in the flesh. Can squeeze her little cheeks. She's got a plan to take the Missouri income tax and turn it to my favorite number, 0.0. Abolition, total, complete freedom. Imagine a world where you keep every dime you earn. It's not a fantasy, it's legislation, and we're going to tell you how to help us pass it right here in Missouri. So strap in, put on your helmet, grab your coffee or your whiskey. I don't judge because the world's going crazy. The looters are at the gate. The traitors are in the Senate. But the liberty movement, we're just getting warmed up. Good morning, pineapples. My name is Austin Petersen. This is the Wake Up America show. Let's get dangerous. Are we already unlocking some bonus content this morning? What? Is somebody doing some quality leering this morning on the Wake Up America show? Yeah, I think somebody went over to forlibertyshop.com. They must want to unlock the bonus content because they got the Quality Leering Center, proudly funded since 2017 t-shirt. You can get the Quality Leering Center over at forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4 libertyshop.com. If we raise $100 this morning, that will unlock phase 1 of the bonus content, our mini documentary. If we raise $150 on the Wake Up America show, that will unlock phase 2, which is our great grift off Liberty Loot live game. Phase 3 is you get a little show and tell from a Liberty object that I get to share with you today. Visit the Grift Shop, make some purchases, buy some delicious Founding Flavors coffee, and you guys will not be disappointed. Remember, use that code BUY2, save 15. If you buy 2 of anything, then you will save 15% minimum. Okay, let's hit the story. So I want you to look at the screen here. I want really look at this here. Watching this right here. Because what you're seeing here is not just a tragedy, right? This is a physics lesson, right? And it is a lesson that cost this woman her life.
No! Shame! Shame! Oh my fucking God! What the fuck?
So Wednesday morning in Minneapolis, a 37-year-old woman decides to play a game. The game is called Chicken, and her opponent is the United States federal government. Her name was Renee Nicole Good, and she wasn't from Minneapolis. She was from Kansas City, Missouri. She lived in the Waldo neighborhood. She was a poet, a writer, and she moved to Minnesota to escape the red state tyranny here. Oh no, the tyranny of low taxes and freedom. She went there seeking a safe space, and instead, she found the reality of a 9mm round. She's in a Honda Pilot, 4,000 pounds of steel and glass. She sees an ICE agent. He is armed. He is wearing a badge. He is issuing lawful commands. And in that moment, she makes a calculation. She believes, genuinely believes that she is magic. She makes a calculation, right? That she believes that her politics are a force field. She hits the gas. She lunges that 4,000-pound missile at a human being, and the agent fires 3 shots, center mass. The car crashes, the woman dies, and immediately the machine spins up. Mayor Jacob's Frey screams. Governor Tim Walz cries propaganda. The media is trying to tell us that she was an activist, right? They tell you that she was unarmed. Stop. I mean, let's get one thing straight before we go any further. A car is not a megaphone, okay? A car is not a protest sign. A car is a kinetic weapon, right? If you drive a 2-ton vehicle at a man with a gun, you are not a victim. You are an assailant using lethal force. That is not politics. That is gravity. That is physics. And physics doesn't care who you voted for. But the White House isn't playing games. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem stepped up to the podium. I mean, she didn't call this a traffic stop. She called it domestic terrorism. I mean, if Renee Good was a domestic terrorist, then Mayor Frey is providing material support to an enemy combatant.
Well, I said this yesterday. We've never been at war with our federal government. I think in this case that the National Guard is their main mission. They have a dual mission. Well, I said this yesterday. We've never been at war with our federal government. Well, who's we? My ancestor went to war with the federal government and lost. Womp womp. Sorry, Nance Davis. All right, but let's go deeper because the left is already screaming unarmed, right? She didn't have a gun. Why did they shoot? Well, guess what? AP always does his homework. I have the receipts. And ironically, they come from the Minnesota Supreme Court. 2 years ago, 2024, State versus Abdus Salam. Write this down. The Minnesota Supreme Court ruled explicitly that a motor vehicle is a dangerous weapon. Even if you don't intend to hit someone, if you drive recklessly, if you spin donuts in an intersection, that car is legally the same as a loaded Glock. So let's apply Tim Walz's own law to this shooting. So this woman didn't just spin donuts. She targeted a federal agent. She used a, quote, dangerous weapon to attempt murder. In the eyes of the law and in the eyes of any rational operator, that agent was staring down the barrel of a gun. He didn't shoot a protester. He neutralized a legal threat. But you're not going to hear that on CNN this morning. You won't hear that because Mayor Jacob Frey is going to spin it and tell them to get the F out and ratchet up the tension.
right? And the facts, of course, are going to be inconvenient to the left's narrative, right? They need you to believe that ICE is a death squad, when in reality, they're just men who want to go home to their families at night. And if you try to crush them with an SUV, they're going to make sure that you don't get the chance. So why did she do it? And this is the question that I was pondering last night, putting this script together for you this morning. So why did a 37-year-old woman who presumably had a family, a job, a life, why did she throw it all away in a frozen street in Minneapolis? She didn't wake up crazy, right? She was made crazy. She was radicalized. For 6 years, since the fires of 2020, Minneapolis has been something like an open-air asylum. And the inmates are running this asylum, and the doctors are handing out the matches to burn it down. Think about the messaging she has consumed. Jacob Frey tells her the police are the enemy. Ilhan Omar tells her that ICE is a terrorist organization. Tim Walz tells her that, quote, resistance is a moral duty, and she listens to them. She trusted them. She believed that if she resisted, if she, quote, fought back, that she would be celebrated, that she would be safe. She thought she was starring in a movie where the resistance always wins, right? And the fascist always backs down. But the street is not a movie set. And a hollow point bullet doesn't follow a script. And the tragic irony, the truth, is that Mayor Jacob Frey killed her, not with a gun, but with a lie. He wound her up like a toy soldier, pointed her at the feds, and said, go get him. And now that she's dead, is he taking responsibility? Is he apologizing for the climate of hate that he's created? No, he is doubling down. Look at what he said yesterday to the federal government of the United States. Get the F word out of Minneapolis, right? We don't want you here. So that is not a mayor speaking to a partner. That is a warlord speaking to an invader, right? That is soft secession. Jacob Frey is declaring that Minneapolis is no longer part of the union. He's saying that federal law stops at the city limits. He's creating a sanctuary, not for immigrants, but for criminals and for chaos. And when a mayor tells federal agents to get out, he is telling citizens that the feds are illegitimate. He is giving a permission slip for violence. He is telling every Antifa member, every radical activist, that it is open season on ICE. And this woman, she took him seriously. She acted on his orders, and she paid the price. And Frey, he's sitting in his warm office today, surrounded by private security, and she is in the morgue. That is the reality of the left. The leaders get rich. The leaders get famous. They have armed guards and armed security. Their followers get dead. And we're entering a dangerous new phase in this country. President Trump has deployed 2,000 agents. The blue cities are fighting back, not in court, but in the streets. And they're using their own citizens as human shields. They're weaponizing the mentally ill. They're weaponizing the radicalized. And they're hoping for a body count because, honestly, they want this to happen. They want this to happen because this body count gives them a talking point, right? They wanted this video. They wanted a martyr because now they can say, look, Trump is killing us, right? But they don't care about the woman in the Honda Pilot. She's just ammunition to them, right? So here is my warning to you, to the citizens of Minneapolis, to the citizens of Chicago, to the citizens of New York. Don't be their ammunition. Don't be their useful idiots. Why would you want to die for Jacob Frey's ego? Don't die for Ilhan Omar's press release or her fundraising email. Don't die. That is the stupidest reason you could ever kill yourself. If you see federal agents, don't stand in front of them. Let them do their job, because if you fight physics, if you try to fight the U.S. government with a Honda Pilot, you will lose, and Jacob Frey will step over your body to get the microphone. Now, instead of a moment of silence, I've prepared a poem in her honor. She was a poet, and she's now joined the ranks of the Dead Poets Society. There once was a writer named Good who left Waldo as fast as she could. The red state is scary. The blue state is merry, or so she had misunderstood. She drove to the north for a start, with a Honda and love in her heart. She saw ice on the street and refused to retreat, for resistance was her kind of art. I'll ram them, she cried with a cheer. My privilege will protect me right here. I'm a poet, a scholar. I don't need a collar. The feds are the ones who should fear. But the agent she chose for her game didn't know about poetry or fame. He saw 2 tons of steel coming hot on his heel, and he didn't care who was to blame. Now Renee has found her release, not from Trump, but from kinetic police. She fought Newton's law with a fatal guffaw and found out that physics don't cease. Thank you. Thank you. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, I'm your host, Austin Petersen, and yes, I am absolutely going to hell. Glad and thankful to have you here today. If you haven't already, guys, please click the like button on the Wake Up America show. We'd love to have you be a regular guest. Click that like button and the follow button as well. When you click the follow button, you will get a notification when we go live on the show, which is 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. That's the Wake Up America show's streaming schedule. When you click that follow button, you'll get a notification on your Rumble app. If you're not watching us on Rumble, you really should, because that's where all the cool kids hang out in the comment section. So if you want to contact the show, you can always get in touch with us by sending us a text message. That phone number that you see at the bottom of the screen there, that 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. That's the text line. When you send us a text there, we get that, and you can use that text line to contact us for any reason. Let's say you've bought something from the For Liberty shop, and maybe you're wondering where your package is, and you need to find your tracking number or something, or you had an issue for some reason, or just wanted to vent. Send us a text again at 573-319-1586. The Wake Up America show is funded by viewers and listeners like you. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting might be shut down, but we are still alive thanks to the largesse of our listeners. Thank you, everyone. How do we fund this? Well, I produce a 5-minute mini documentary each day for the Wake Up America show. And typically what happens is that most people will contribute a Rumble Rant, or they'll make a purchase at forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4libertyshop.com. And when they do, that helps to unlock that bonus content. We have 3 phases of it. So if you would generously make a small contribution over in the chat, that helps to unlock that bonus content. Or you can try our delicious Founding Flavors coffee at forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4libertyshop.com. Head on over, and every purchase that you make during the live show goes to unlock that bonus content. Thanks to Grizz Cheese, Unfolding Joker, Melly B, who's got an interview today that she needs a little thoughts and prayers for. A Howe is here. We need to get her a little castle after her name. Amy J. Ease, Quest Fanning, Mighty Megatron, and all of our friends like Robbie Theriman and Drew Van Runkle are all hanging out with us here this morning. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. Let's rock. So if you thought the violence in Minneapolis was the only war being waged on you today, you are wrong. There is a second front, and it's being led by a man who claims to be on our side. Mitt Romney, the failed candidate, the retiring senator, the man who looks at a struggling middle class and says, you know what they need? Less money. Romney just published an op-ed in the New York Times, of course, and the headline is, tax the rich, like me. I mean, it sounds noble. I'm sure the left loves that. The New York Times were tripping over themselves to publish this article, because it sounds like he's finally stepping up, right? He's stepping up. The rich Republicans are finally in agreement with us. It's time to tax the rich. Do not be fooled, because I read the fine print and the response from Clifford Asness in the Wall Street Journal. Mitt Romney is not proposing a tax on wealth. He's proposing a massive tax hike on work. Right? He wants to uncap the Social Security payroll tax. So that hits the guy making $200,000, the small business owner, right? The architect, the striver. But does it hit the guy living off a trust fund? Does it hit the private equity manager living off of carried interest? No, because they don't earn a salary. All right. Romney is pulling the oldest trick in the book. He is pretending to tax the rich while he's actually taxing the middle class who made it. Right? This is what we call the ladder pull. So Mitt Romney climbed the ladder of American capitalism. He made his hundreds of millions, and now he's looking down at you, climbing up behind him, and he is greasing the rungs. Right? He calls them loopholes. I call them survival mechanisms, right? Mitt Romney he attacks the quote, step up in basis, which is the rule that stops the government from taxing your family farm twice when you die. And he calls this a cavern for tax avoidance, but I call it the only thing keeping family businesses alive. But here's the tell. Here's how you know that Mitt Romney is lying, because he attacks the things that help you build the wealth, right? But he's very quiet about the things that keep him wealthy, right? As the Wall Street Journal pointed out, you cannot fund the American welfare state by taxing 20,000 billionaires. The math doesn't work. To pay for the government that Mitt Romney wants, you have to tax the mechanic, the nurse, Amy J. Easley. You have to tax the truck driver. I mean, they want European-style benefits. They need European-style taxes. And that means they're coming for your paycheck, not for Mitt Romney's dividends. But I promised, of course, I wouldn't give you the bad news all the time, right? Because Mitt Romney's trying to turn America into France. Real patriots are fighting back, because look at what's happening in Georgia. This is some breaking news from the last 48 hours. Senate Republicans in Georgia have released a plan to eliminate the state income tax by 2032. Zero, zip, nada. They're following the Tennessee model, the Florida model, the Texas model, and they understand something that Mitt Romney forgot 30 years ago. You cannot tax your way into prosperity. If you tax something, you will get less of it, right? Romney wants to tax work, so we'll get less work. Georgia wants to untax work, so they will get more jobs. And look at Argentina. I can't go a day without mentioning my boy Javier Milei. He just announced another budget surplus, right? He fired the bureaucrats. He slashed the regulations, and the country is booming. The world is waking up to the truth. The looters, like Mitt Romney, represent the past, a past of debt, slow growth, and managed decline. The builders represent the future, a future where you keep what you earn and the government leaves you the hell alone. Thank you very much, Entropy Nomad. Don't tax me, bro. Very good, very good. So here's the choice. It's very simple. Option A, the Romney plan. We tax the strivers. We punish success. We feed the beast in Washington until it consumes us all. Option B, the Georgia plan. We starve the beast. We unleash the American engine. We tell the IRS and the politicians to take a hike. Mitt Romney thinks he's being a statesman through this, right? He thinks he's being responsible. Right? He's just being a tax collector for the welfare state. And I have a message for you, Senator Romney. We don't need your nobility. We don't need your tax hikes. We want your liberty, and we're going to take it. So we just spent the last half an hour talking about the tyrants in Minneapolis and the traitors in Washington like Mitt Romney who want to tax you into oblivion. And I know it's easy to get blackpilled when you hear these things, right? And it's easy to think the bad guys are winning. But I've got news for you, not in the free state of Missouri, because while Mitt Romney is writing op-eds about how to steal more of your paycheck, we are here in Jefferson City, Missouri, 52 degrees Fahrenheit, nice and warm, plotting to make sure they never touch your paycheck again. The goal isn't a tax cut. The goal is abolition. So we are talking about a 0.0 state income tax. No state income tax in Missouri. So we want to do what Tennessee and Florida did. We want to do what Texas did, but the establishment is terrified. They are already screaming that the sky is going to fall. So we're going to bring in some heavy artillery today. She is the legislative director for Americans for Prosperity in Missouri. She reads the fine print better than most lobbyists, and she's leading the charge to get us to zero. Camellia Peterson will be live on the Wake Up America show 30 minutes from now. We're going to take a brief little commercial break. Let's keep that bonus content unlocking. Now's a good time to head over to the Grift Shop at 4libertyshop.com. That's the number 4libertyshop.com. We'll be right back. Talking a little bit more about Minnesota, Minneapolis, this incident before we get to Camellia at 8 a.m. Central. It's the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network.
Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back. With sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that at the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
We just showed some images of what appear to be large-scale peaceful protests tonight in response. We have reporters on the ground who, of course, covering them. Tell us what the scale of those are. What are you hearing about what's happening on the ground? How did they originate?
Well, look, I won't speak to the work that those that have been organizing is doing right now. I won't speak to that. What I will say is there is a broad message that is going out, and that message is pretty clear, which is don't take the bait. We'll stand up for justice. We'll stand up for what is right. And we also recognize what the Trump administration is trying to do here, because it appears that they wanted a moment like this.
We just showed some images.
Yeah, I don't think that we wanted a moment like this, but we think that you did. So let's slow down. You know, the news cycles, they move at the speed of light. Good morning. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. Thankful to have you here today. Please click the like button. And if today is your first time watching the Wake Up America show, please click the follow button as well. The woman who died in the Honda Pilot on Wednesday, she's more than a headline, right? And she isn't a domestic terrorist or a martyr. Right, she was a neighbor. She was my neighbor. We confirmed her identity. Renee Nicole Good, 37 years old. She wasn't some lifelong Minneapolis Antifa street fighter. She was from Kansas City, Missouri, where I'm from. She lived in the Waldo neighborhood. And, you know, I know Waldo. I lived in downtown Kansas City for a few years. It's coffee shops, brick homes, it's families. She was a widow. Her husband, Timmy Ray Macklin Jr., died in 2023. She was a mother to a 6-year-old child, and she was a poet. So how does a poet from Waldo, a woman who writes about solipsist sunsets and cicadas, end up inside a 4,000-pound SUV, using it as a battering ram against federal agents in a frozen street 500 miles from home? That is the story that nobody is talking about this morning. This is the story of radicalization. She fled the red state of Missouri. She went looking for a sanctuary. She went looking for meaning after her husband died. And she found a political machine run by people like Tim Walz and Jacob Frey that chewed her up and spit her out. So I want to read you something, because to understand the tragedy, you kind of have to understand the mind of this woman. This is from her poem titled On Learning to Dissect Fetal Pigs. So she won the Academy of American Poets Prize for this in 2020. Listen to the words. I want back my rocking chairs, solipsist sunsets, and coastal jungle sounds. Can I let them both be? This fickle faith and this college science that heckles from the back of the classroom. Right? This is not the writing of some monster. Okay, this is the writing of a very sensitive soul, someone who's torn between faith and science, right? Someone who's looking for wonder, right? She writes about donating Bibles to thrift stores, about the slick rubber smell of high gloss biology textbook pictures, right? She was soft. And that is exactly why she was the perfect target for the woke mind virus. See, the radical left, they don't recruit hardened criminals. They recruit the sensitive. They find broken people and they bring them in. They find a widow, a poet, right? Someone who is grieving. And then they tell them that your pain has a purpose. Your enemy is the state. Your salvation is the resistance. They took a woman who wrote about pentameter from the hairy legs of cockroaches, and they convinced her that the only way for her to be a good person was to drive a car into a man with a gun. Let's look at the timeline here. So she moves to Minneapolis. She's surrounded by the rhetoric of Mayor Jacob Frey, right? She hears Ilhan Omar telling her that ICE is terrorizing the city. She hears Governor Walz calling federal law enforcement a war on Minnesota. Wednesday morning, she's in her car. She sees the flashing lights. She sees the uniforms. And in her mind, she's just living out a stanza of her own poetry, right? She thinks that this is a metaphor, right? She thinks that she can dissect the state like she dissected those fetal pigs. But as you can see there, the street isn't a poem. The street is physics, right? The agent she faced wasn't a metaphor. He was a man terrified for his life. He saw a weapon. She saw a statement. And when those two realities collided, the result was inevitable. She drove forward, the agent fires, and in that split second, the poetry ended. And the reality of the bullet begins, right? This is what I mean when I talk about suicide by ideology. Right? She didn't want to die. She wanted to matter, right? And the politicians in Minneapolis told her that the only way that she could matter was to fight. And now that she's gone, the machine is grinding on. You would think that the politicians would pause. You would think they would say, let's cool this down. But no, Minneapolis public schools just canceled classes for today and tomorrow. Think about that. They sent 30,000 teenagers home, they released 30,000 teenagers into the street. They're creating a holiday for riots. They want the chaos. But the White House isn't blinking, because a recent released statement this morning looks like President J.D. Vance, he offered a warning. He says, you can accept that this woman's death is a tragedy while acknowledging it's a tragedy of her own making. He says, don't illegally interfere in federal law enforcement. It's really that simple. And Kristi Noem, she's kind of doubling down on the T word, domestic terrorism. She says Renee Good weaponized her vehicle. She said she was part of a mob of agitators. I mean, the old GOP, honestly, they would have apologized. The old GOP would have launched an investigation into ICE. The old GOP would have launched an investigation into the agent, right? But the Trump advanced administration is saying, we told you, if you attack us, we will defend ourselves. So what's the lesson, the final lesson from this tragedy? What do we take away from the death of the poet from Waldo, right? It is a warning to every single one of these leftists. Do not let them use you, okay? Do not let Jacob Frey use your body as a shield. Do not let Tim Walz use your grief as a weapon. Renee Nicole Good should be writing poetry today. She should be raising her 6-year-old child. She should be drinking coffee in a cafe in Minneapolis, but she isn't, because she believed a lie. She believed that she could fight the state with a Honda Pilot and win. Right? She believed that her moral superiority was a bulletproof vest. It wasn't. And if you're watching this and if you're angry, good. Be angry, but be smart. Don't be a martyr for a mayor who hates you. Don't be a statistic for a governor who sees you as a prop. Stay alive, raise your kids, write your poems, but for God's sakes, stay out of the street and don't try and crash your car into a federal agent. Good morning, pineapples. Looking very good and very nice. Good morning, pineapples. Looking very good and very nice. Who we got in the chat today? Grizz Cheese, Amy J. E's, Booty Sweat, hanging out with M&M's, as well as Robbie Thurman. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you all. Glad and thankful to have you here. 111 people watching us here on the Wake Up America show. I'd love to see us get some more likes on the stream this morning. If you wouldn't mind, help us to get out in more people's feeds. When you click the like button over at rumble.com/AP4Liberty, where our friends are watching us, click the like button, help us to get out in more people's feeds this morning. If you click the follow button as well, you'll get a notification whenever we go live, which is every 5, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. That's the Wake Up America show schedule, and we'd love to have you be a regular guest. When you click that follow button, you will get a notification whenever we go live, and we'd love to have you be a regular guest, like all of our friends in there. Introduce yourself in the chat. If you're just joining us this morning today and you've never heard about the Grift Shop at thegriftshop.com, we have our Tim Walz Quality Leering Center t-shirts. Founding Flavors Coffee is what fuels the revolutionary spirit in this show. A lot of people sell coffee. I get it. But our coffee is better. Founding Flavors Coffee. And if you don't believe me, then I challenge you to try it. And if you don't like it, I will refund you your money. I will give you your money back if you don't like it. That's how confident I am that you're going to love it. If you've never tried our coffee before, we have a best value bundle. My recommendation to you is this. These are my top 3 favorites from forlibertyshop.com. So head on over to forlibertyshop.com, click on our coffee page, and check out the Jeffersonian Java, Electric Elixir, and Thomas's Painkiller. Somebody asked us the other day, they said, which is the best? I really like a strong coffee. And when I think strong coffee, do you mean strong flavor or strong as in terms of caffeine? So here, let me just break it down for you briefly. The Jeffersonian Java, the light roast, that's the maximal caffeine boost. Franklin's Electric Elixir, the medium roast, is the nice balance between like the fullness of the roast of the flavor and the caffeine. Thomas's Painkiller is the rich Colombian single origin coffee, which just so happens to be my favorite. So my favorite unofficial founding father, Thomas Paine, is who I named after my favorite coffee of all of them. We have dozens of different types. We also have K-Cups and instant coffees as well. And if you have a K-Cup, if you want to try maybe our top 3, but you're like, oh, Austin, I have a Keurig, but I wanted to try the other Founding Flavors coffees that aren't in K-Cups. Well, you can buy the reusable coffee K-Cup filters, and we don't even make any money on those. They have incredible reviews. People love them. We just sell them so that we can hopefully, at that price, so that we can sell more coffee. So our reusable coffee K-Cup filter 3 pods you'll get in the mail is a highly recommended addition to that if you like a Keurig, but you want to try some of the other coffees that don't come in K-Cups. So head over to forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4, libertyshop.com. Every purchase that you make during the live show helps to unlock that bonus content. and it helps to ensure that the Wake Up America show stays strong, and we keep streaming live Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time on the Wake Up America show. We're very grateful to have all of our friends and family here this morning.
When the Founding Fathers dreamed of liberty, they forgot one thing: coffee. Introducing Founding Flavors Coffee, the brew that built America, and the brew that's fueling a new revolution, one kitchen at a time. Small batch roasted, Patriot approved, and disappearing faster than a red coat at Yorktown. Don't get left behind, soldier. Real patriots are starting their mornings with Founding Flavors, and trust us, freedom tastes better with a fresh cup in your hand. Stop drinking those tyrant brews who take your money and don't support your values. Stocks are limited, demand is booming, and your morning deserves a taste of liberty. Order now at forlibertyshop.com before the next shipment gets signed, sealed, and sold out. Founding Flavors Coffee, the official brew of morning rebellions everywhere. Get yours at forlibertyshop.com. Look, not all t-shirts are created equal. Some just sit there. Others start conversations. The ones at forlibertyshop.com, they raise eyebrows, win arguments, and occasionally get you banned from PTA meetings. Whether you're repping freedom, mocking tyrants, or just making the left squirm, we've got the gear that says what you're thinking. Loud, proud, unapologetic. Grab yours today at forlibertyshop.com because your shirt should speak louder than your neighbor's bumper sticker.
Welcome back to the Wake Up America show. Thanks for hanging out with us through that short break. We're going to shift gears a little bit. We talked about the violence in the streets. We talked about the theft in the tax code. Now I want to talk about the prison being built around you. And the scariest part is they aren't using barbed wire, right? They're using convenience. If you flew over the holidays, you might have noticed it. You walked up to the TSA checkpoint, and instead of handing the agent your ID, you looked into a camera, right? Touchless ID, they call it. Biometric boarding. Delta calls it the golden age of travel, and I call it the golden age of surveillance. So as of January 1st, 2026, the TSA has expanded facial recognition to every major hub in this country. They tell you it's faster. They tell you it's secure. What they don't tell you is that they are building the infrastructure for a Chinese-style social credit system. Once your face is the ticket, your face is also the deny button. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. We're going to be talking for a brief few moments about the attempt to put a social credit system here in the United States. Imagine a world where you walk up to the gate and the camera scans you and the light turns red, not because you have a bomb, but because you owe back taxes or because you posted the wrong opinion on X and the Democrats are back in charge. Maybe you attended a protest in Minneapolis, right? China already does this, and the TSA is building the exact same camera network right here. Now, you might be asking, Austin, isn't Congress going to try and stop this? Didn't we elect Republicans to kill the deep state? Well, let me introduce you to Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, national treasure. So last year, Senator Kennedy tried to pass a bill called the Traveler Privacy Protection Act. It was simple. It would have banned the TSA from forcing you to scan your face. And it was bipartisan. Kennedy and Jeff Merkley worked together on this, right? And so why didn't it pass? Why are we still getting scanned in 2026? Because the TSA, a federal agency, illegally lobbied against it. And Senator Kennedy said it best. They're working like an ugly stripper to kill this bill. Think about that. The agency that works for you used your tax dollars, yours and mine, to lobby Congress to ensure that they could continue to spy on you. And they terrified the Commerce Committee. They claimed national security, and the bill died in the dark. Right? This is the administrative state in action. They don't care who the president is. They don't care who controls the Senate. The bureaucracy wants your biometric data, and they will crush anyone who tries to stop them, and they will illegally lobby to maintain control, right? And let's not forget the whole Real ID disaster. We're dealing with this in Missouri as we speak. Camellia is going to be here live in studio in about 20 minutes to talk to us about this. Do you guys remember May 7th, 2025? This was the deadline where if you didn't have this gold star on your license, you couldn't fly. And millions of Americans actually did get stranded. And this chaos was intentional, right? To force you into the digital app, to force you into TSA PreCheck, right? They made the analog process showing a plastic card, right? So painful, so slow that you begged for the digital leash. Just scan my face. I just want to get to Orlando, right? That is the strategy. Managed misery. Right? They break the system on purpose so you will accept their high-tech solution. And now, of course, they're selling that data. Right? Do you think Delta and United keep that data secure? Do you think that the CBP deletes it after 12 hours like they promised? If you believe that, I have a bridge in Baltimore to sell you. They are building a permanent database of the movement of every American citizen, who you travel with, where you go, how often you leave the state. This is the end of privacy, period. But, you know, I'm not here just to scare you or to play doom, be a doomer nationalist, right? I'm here to arm you because you still have a choice. Even today, even in 2026, the law technically still says it is voluntary. They actually hide the signs. They push you into the biometric lane and they make you feel like a criminal for saying no, but you can say no. So here's the protocol. Write this down. When you walk up to that glowing camera, you look the TSO in the eye and you say 3 magic words. I opt out. I want a manual ID check. Right? They might huff, they might puff, they might call a supervisor. Let them. Hold the line. Hand them your physical ID. Make them look at it with their human eyes. It adds 30 seconds to your day, but it sends a message to the machine. I am not a QR code. I am a free citizen, and you do not own my face. Matter of fact, Stephanie and I just skipped for our travel this winter over winter break. We just skipped the whole TSA thing entirely. I'm so sick of the TSA and so sick of the airline industry that instead of a 2-hour flight, we did a 13-hour drive, and it was a beautiful drive. It was a beautiful drive. You get in your own vehicle, you drive across the government roads, and you get to your destination. So Senator Kennedy is reintroducing this bill this session, and I think we need to back him up on this, right? So, you know, be the guy who says no. Be the glitch in the matrix. We're going to talk to Camellia Peterson this morning live in about a little bit less than 10 minutes here on the Wake Up America show about how Missouri is trying to repeal our income tax. Yes. The Wake Up America show is brought to you by viewers and listeners just like you. Ray Sisman says, don't get the real ID like a sucker. I didn't. You can still fly if you bring all your documentation. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I already have a passport because I've done international travel in the past, and a passport is just fine. You don't need a real ID. You just, if you have a passport. But then it makes me wonder, do we need to... do we need to fight back against our passports? Does a free citizen need a passport? Wait a minute. What's that Charlie Chaplin movie where the anarchist kid? Hold on. Wait 1 second. I'm going to pull that clip. You know he's a communist, but it's still a really great speech. Oh man, come on. Great speech. Charlie Chaplin movie. Hey, Camellia Peterson sitting in my driveway right now. I got to go open the garage door so she can get into the shoe closet that we stream this show from live. Don't go away. We'll be right back. It's the Wake Up America Show. Unlock that bonus content, guys. You don't want to miss it. It's the Wake Up America Show on the 4 Liberty Network. I'll be right there, Camellia. Coming.
Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back, with sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that at the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess.
Welcome back to the Wake Up America show. We've just spent this morning talking about the incident in Minnesota. We talked about Mitt Romney trying to turn the American middle class into European serfs. If you're angry, good. But anger without action is just whining. And we don't whine on this show. We fight. So while Washington is plotting to take more of your money, here in the free state of Missouri, we're plotting to make sure they never touch your paycheck again. I'm not talking about a tax cut. I'm talking about abolition. I'm talking about my favorite number. 0.0. No state income tax, period. We want to do what Tennessee did, what Florida did, what Texas did. But the establishment in Jefferson City is terrified. They're screaming that the sky is going to fall if they can't rob you every April. So we're bringing in the heavy artillery to explain why they're wrong. She is the legislative director for Americans for Prosperity in Missouri. She reads the fine print better than the lobbyists, and she is a tax collector's worst nightmare. Camellia Peterson, welcome to Thunderdome.
Good morning. That's quite the introduction.
Camellia, nice to see you. So, 0.0% income tax. Is it a dream, my libertarian dream about to come true?
I mean, I think so. I feel pretty confident about it. So, yeah, let's go.
All right, set it up for us, Camellia. What's the situation? Who are the battle planners? And Yeah, go ahead and talk to the camera because I'm gonna have to walk over there and focus it a little bit more. Keep going.
Okay, yeah, no, so we've been kind of pushing for this for a lot of years, and the last year and this coming year have been the years we've gotten the most momentum on it, and it's because we have a governor who campaigned on it and is determined to eliminate the income tax, knows that it's good for our state, and so he's determined to get it done and is willing to do the negotiations and get it across the line.
But Camellia, how are we going to pay for these tax cuts?
Oh, I know. Well, we might have to cut a little spending, maybe just a little. Might have to get a little more efficient in government. I just talked to a representative yesterday evening, kind of on my way out of the building, and we were talking about Missouri has a Doge committee. And so, a lot of people anymore are thinking like, oh, these Doge, what did Doge do, right? And so they're asking that, I think, at the state level too. And so he talked about like he's ready to dig into, making some real recommendations and digging in to find those places that we can streamline and become more efficient. And he's on that committee. So I'm hopeful that he is cut loose and going to do that.
Okay. I think my mic my speaking is coming through your mic a little bit more. Do me a favor. Just turn that mic towards you. For a while, more towards you. There you go. That'll help us right now. Thank you, Brad, for the backstage stuff. There we go. So the governor will sign it. What are the roadblocks to this happening?
I mean, the Democrats are already out there saying, "Oh, you're going to bankrupt the state, and look at what Kansas did, and you're going to have to cut essential services and." What about the poor people? This is going to help the poor people.
Yes. So we've got a Republican governor. We've got a Republican supermajority, right? So we have like trifecta control. So, I mean, do the Democrats have any chance to stop it, right? Are there any Republican holdouts?
I mean, I think that there will be a lot of, going back and forth on the devil is in the details, right? And so they want to make sure that, you don't actually do something irresponsible for the state because, all the COVID money is gone now. So that means that, we have to make sure that we're budgeting correctly. So we can do that. And I think that also, this is really nerdy, wonky stuff, right? But when you talk about how we do taxes, if we're going to do taxes, like if I were to ask you, like, what's the best kind of tax that you would prefer?
A lottery.
Okay.
It's a tax on people who are bad at math.
Okay. All right.
We should tax stupidity, not productivity.
I don't know how well that would work long term.
What are you talking about? We raise billions of dollars through the
well,
lotteries.
when they're out, if we're out them when they're out of money, they're out of money.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you raise billions. I mean, if you can't run the government with billions of dollars coming through the lottery.
That's true, though. That's true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but usually libertarianish people, conservatives, a lot of times will say that the best kind of tax, if there is such a thing, is a consumption tax, a sales tax.
Oh.
Gives you some choice.
Well, they're
over
wrong.
things.
It's a lottery. It's
well,
definitely
okay.
a lottery.
Well, I find you a legislator to file that bill, and
Well, they already tax it. So here's my question though: how does Tennessee pay for their roads? Roads. How does Tennessee, Florida? How do they do that?
It's taxes. Like
Right.
people aren't going out and volunteering, but I mean they do that differently, right? It's more based on a consumption tax, and so they've done different ways of bringing in that income to where you have more choice and it's more visible.
So what about Florida? I mean, they've got a lot of tolls on their roads. Are we going to start seeing tolls on our roads here in Missouri thanks to this if it passes?
I mean, I don't know about that. I don't think so. Missouri, there's been conversation in Missouri, before about whether or not we want to make toll roads, and there seems to be quite a bit of pushback against that. So I don't think that people are ready to do that.
Okay, so we can't get to zero tax if they keep spending like drunken sailors.
Sure.
So, I mean, is there any plan to coincide with an income tax repeal to cut any spending anywhere?
Oh, yeah. I know that they're already looking. And I will say that, the leadership that we've had on the budget and the House side of things in the last year, they really took a chainsaw to the budget, and the governor has done that as well. He's been line item vetoing, things that were in the budget, and sometimes it's a hard call to make because, everybody's like, oh, but this organization in my community needs that money. They do good things, and I get that, but that's not the government's job. And so I appreciate that he makes some of those hard calls, and we're going to have to do more of that. I mean, that's all there is to it. And so I think that there are a lot of things like that we can do. And also Missouri has an insane number of taxing districts. We need to simplify and streamline and make this easier on everybody. And also stop letting the government pick winners and losers, because we have over 200 carve-outs in the sales tax alone. So special interest groups should not have to, get their own special little carve out.
Now, I know how these bills work. Sometimes they put in these triggers, right? They'll say that we'll cut taxes only if revenue grows by 10%, right? Is this a clean kill, or are there trapdoors that are going to let future politicians pause the cuts if the economy slows down?
Is a combination. So there will be growth triggers, but there also will be other things that I think, my guess is that the goal is that it will be done within 10 to 12 years. That's my guess. Haven't seen the final plan yet, but the governor knows full well that it doesn't make Missouri competitive for it to be growth triggered only and take 30 years. I mean, that's just doesn't do anybody any good.
So the income tax, it specifically punishes work, right? It punishes the guy trying to climb the ladder, right? It doesn't hurt the guy who makes $100 million in the bank. He's got $100 million in the bank. He's living off interest or dividends or what have you, right? So by keeping the income tax, you're kind of punishing the strivers, right? The working class, and you protect the idle rich. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you see all of this pushback against billionaires and builders and entrepreneurs and the people who make our society run. And I just told somebody that I was like, on the right, you should want your billionaires too. The left has Soros and whoever else. You don't want to get rid of the billionaires on the right. So you need that money. But, you do, the people who have all that money, like you said, they have all of the lawyers and everything to find all of the loopholes. The system works for them because they can work the system. And the little guy can't do that. And so they get stuck. So I think this is going to be good. I think it's doable. And I'm glad that we just finally have a ton of momentum to get it done.
There you go. If you're just tuning in to the Wake Up America show, I'm Austin Petersen speaking to Camellia Peterson. We are friends. We are not related. She's an S-O-N and I'm an S-E-N Peterson. We just unlocked phase 1 of the bonus content. Thank you, everyone. You love to see it. We'll play for you the mini documentary here a little bit later on in the Wake Up America show. And if we hit $150 raised, we will unlock the Great Grift Off Liberty Loot Live. And Camellia will be here to play it live in studio.
Woohoo.
So we're talking this morning about Missouri abolishing the income tax, right? But you're a lobbyist, but I'm sure that there are lobbyists who are not lobbying like you're lobbying. Are there lobbyists lobbying against this, Camellia? Are there people working overtime to try and stop this in Missouri?
I mean, I'm sure there are. I think everybody's kind of been holding their fire because they'll reveal the plan for it next week. But yeah, those groups that have gotten their carve-outs in, the consumption tax side of things, the sales tax and other things, they are really nervous about this because they feel like that they lose that advantage. And when it comes down to it, it's not going to be a drastic change. Nobody's going to be losing business over this, and it should be fair. If we're going to tax people, let's make it fair and not, put all the taxes on the middle class.
Well, is it fair to say that nobody's going to lose business over this? Isn't H&R Block going to lose a little business over the tax preparers?
There's still federal income tax. We haven't done anything about that, so I think they'll still be all right.
So, Camellia, let's talk about the enemy within. The Missouri National Education Association is currently suing the state to block funding for Mo Scholar, which is our ESA program, right? They'd rather let that money burn than let a poor kid go to a private school. Why is the teachers union allowed to dictate state policy? And why hasn't the legislature completely severed their stranglehold on our tax dollars?
Well, I hope we reach the point where they get fed up enough because the bureaucracy that is the public education system in Missouri does have a stranglehold, on the legislature in a lot of ways. One of the things that came out this last week that just blew my mind was the Springfield school districts. You went to college in Springfield, right? Well, the public school district in Springfield paid $250,000 to hire a lobbyist for 1 year on top of their regular lobbyist. And so this is when you look at the list of things they want the lobbyists to do, it's federal and state stuff, but they're feeling the heat on the pressure of school choice and they're going to be pushing back. But I'm thinking, $250,000, how many teachers could you pay more with that over the course of a year? If you have money to spend on a lobbyist to lobby the government to get more of our money, we have a problem.
But isn't it a problem that if we have let's say we pass school choice in Missouri, won't that mean that these poor black kids are going to be allowed to go to our nice white private schools? And isn't that a problem if you don't want poor black kids in your nice white private schools?
Well, let me tell you a little story. There was a young, fiery representative who thought he was all that in a bag of chips, and he was like mini Trump. And he came in on school choice, and then he promptly did a 180 and opposed it. And he made a remark about, he didn't want, those kids in their schools. That didn't go very well for him. He didn't get reelected. I'm just saying.
I'm fine with poor kids, just no Jews.
Oh Lord.
Sorry, we're doing the woke right thing today. Just kidding. Lighten up. Welcome to the Wake Up America show, where everything is funny. Speaking to Camellia Peterson this morning, we're talking a little bit about issues facing our state. If you got a question for Camellia, you can send me a text at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. We're talking about school choice a little bit now. Governor Kehoe injected $50 million into most scholar last year, which is great, but there's still kind of a cap and a waiting list. Mm-hmm. So if the money follows the child, why isn't it universal? So who is the Republican standing in the schoolhouse door saying, sorry, kid, we ran out of liberty today?
Well, quite a few.
Yeah.
Obviously enough that it doesn't pass. We can't even, this is how bad it is. And when you see, say, supermajority red state, does not mean much. But this goes back to the stranglehold that, just that the bureaucratic system that we've had in place with its tentacles everywhere. And it's an emotional issue for people, right? Your school is like the focal point of your community, and everybody, has emotional ties to that. And it was good enough for me, so shouldn't it be good enough for you, right? And so it gets complicated, but we've had a lot of bureaucracy that's grown with that, and the superintendents have a lot of sway with their legislators that represent their districts. And so it's tough for the legislators to go against that, because the machine that's in the public system that they have with the unions and whatnot, they have access to all of those families and those parents, and they can make it sound like they're trying to kill your school. And that's not the goal at all. Like, those schools need to be better too, but we have way too many chiefs. And so we need to cut the bureaucracy.
Okay, cut the bureaucracy. This is the show to be talking like that. Camellia, there is this thing they call the initiative petition trap, right? The left is screaming that Republicans are trying to kill democracy with initiative petition reform. They're saying that requiring a majority of congressional districts is rigging the game, but without it, St. Louis and Kansas City basically dictate the laws for the entire state. So is this initiative petition reform going to pass in 2026, or are we going to let the mob rule continue?
I think there's a lot of debate about this, just because it's so easy to message on from the left. Why are you trying to take away the voice of the people? Like, why would you want to silence the people? That resonates even with the right. So I think it depends on how they word it on the ballot. Like, that's always the debate, is how they word it on the ballot. But there's some ballot candy stuff in there about, probably something like, taxing lobbyists. I'm not kidding.
I'm for it. Tax them.
But, there's, the threshold needs to be higher, because for heaven's sake, they passed $15 minimum wage in Missouri. They also tried to mandate paid sick leave on all these employers, and we repealed that. But it just, yeah, so minimum wage is going up to $15 in Missouri. We've already seen restaurants saying they're going to have to shut down, and it's a direct correlation. So we need a better process.
There we go. Now, have you heard about this Senate bill? It's 554. They call it the Biometric Information Privacy Act. Have you heard of this one?
There are several that have been sort of along those lines. I don't know if I remember the details of that one.
So this one would allow citizens to sue companies that steal their face data, right?
Okay.
This kind of seems like a no-brainer for the liberty movement, but big tech is kind of lobbying hard to kill it. Where does the Missouri GOP stand? Are they with the citizens or are they with Silicon Valley?
Well, I don't know about the GOP itself. I would say there are a lot of people who will be, in the grassroots anyway, who will be on board with this, obviously. I mean, we should have...
You should be able to sue them.
We should have some protections over our personal image and things like that, our personal data. So, I do think the devil is always in the details on these things because there are so many of these bills about tech and about AI and all these things that if you're not careful, there are unintended consequences if you don't get wording just right or it is too broad, and then you end up there's just all kinds of bills where they're trying to tackle this AI issue, and the way they word it, why you could be outlawing calculators because it's an artificial or it's an intelligent machine.
Now, here's the thing: should I be able to sue Elon Musk? Because this morning I posted a tweet and I said, "Hey, Grok, take this picture and put me in a bikini and look at this."
No.
Now,
no.
Look at this. I said, Grok, put me in a bikini, and this is what they made me look like. Honestly, though, it's a pretty nice bikini, but that's not what my body looks like. I am way more muscular than that. So should I be able to sue Elon Musk for Grok being able to put me in a bikini?
I mean, I believe you had a choice in this.
Oh, I had a choice, but what if somebody else decided to put me in the bikini?
I think we've seen several examples of that. I think people have been having a lot of fun putting other people in bikinis on Grok.
They certainly have.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Like if somebody says, "I don't want that out there," where do your rights fall on that? That's hard.
Yeah, because this has become a trend now because some chick was angry because they did it to the female. They're like, "Hey, Grok, put her in a bikini," and so now it's a big trend. So I thought that I would do it, and I'm honestly, I do kind of want to sue because I have abs, even if I'm a little chunky, and way bigger muscles in my arms. My chest isn't even nearly that hairy.
Look, Grok only has basically kind of your shoulders up to go on, right? As far as its source picture. So it's just kind of making some assumptions with the rest.
The numbers on the stream
Physiognomy.
The numbers on the stream are dropping in the chat. The chat is leaving. The chat is revolting. Can I sue for workplace distress, says Brad Beckman.
Do you have an HR in this company?
Yeah, it's Grok. All right, so the state treasurer has been fighting ESG scores in our pension funds here in the state, but I still see woke banks operating in the state. If a bank discriminates against a gun manufacturer or a farmer, Camellia, why does the state of Missouri still do business with them? Why haven't we fired them all?
I mean, I think they've been working on it. The treasurer's been working on this and has been adamant about it for a long time. I would imagine, like with anything, there are hoops to jump through and things you've got to there's all kinds of strings and red tape attached to doing these kind of things and contracts and whatnot. But I think if there's, I think if it's going to get done, he's a pretty good one to do it.
Good to hear. Another thing that we're looking at here in Missouri legislatively is the transgender medical ban, right? So we banned the surgeries for minors here in Missouri. We protected the kids. But now the left is trying to create sanctuaries in the cities to bypass state law. So what's the next step? Do we need to start removing prosecutors who refuse to enforce the SAFE Act, or what is this?
So we have this new attorney general named Catherine Hanaway. Mm-hmm. And she's just not been taking anything from anyone. And so I have no doubt at all that if they try to pull that kind of stuff, she will be like, nope, and will go full force after it. She's really She has been, you have the show horse and the workhorse, and she has come in and she has been the workhorse and has just gotten stuff done. And so I have no doubt that she will take care of that issue.
Okay, well, we'll see if she actually follows through, because we have attorney generals who usually come and stay for like 2 or 3 years at max, and they never. We haven't had an attorney general finish out their term.
I don't think she's like going to the FBI or anything like that.
I'm pretty sure she'll probably go to the FBI pretty soon if they ask her to. So this is kind of a sleeper issue here in Missouri. The 4-day school week, right? So half of rural Missouri is now on a 4-day school week, right? The schools say that it helps recruit teachers.
Yep.
Parents say it destroys their work schedule.
Yep.
Is this a sign of a failing system? Are we essentially admitting that we can't afford to educate our kids 5 days a week anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's part of the challenge of how do you do school, especially in rural areas. There's no great solution. And this is not a popular thing to say, but when you choose to live in a rural area, you choose to limit your choices for things too. Like you won't have access to everything that you would. And it's really tough because, we've had a lot of rural bleed and a lot of the rural areas on the borders of the state have been decreasing in population because businesses are going to the border states who have right to work. So, I mean, there's no easy answers. So I think schools are doing what they have to do to keep things going. And it's probably not the best thing, but I also think this goes back to school choice. Like, I think that, the local parents and administrators, they have to decide what's best for their community and best for their kids.
What do you think about it for a 4-day school week?
I mean, like, I homeschooled a lot. So I'm like, what day school week? What? I'm like, we're in a 5-day regular school for the first time in our lives this year. So
how do you like it?
I mean, it's fine. I asked Felicity about this because, so we were doing a hybrid before. And then, of course, we've always just regular homeschool before that. But it's not that the workload has been more or less. She said it's just that it's been different. Like it's just spread out different across the day. So, I think it's fine. I think the biggest thing is the quality of work, because the problem with the 4-day week is that the way they get the hours in is they just lump an extra like half hour, or whatever it is onto every day. And if you're just tacking a little bit onto the end of a class, you're not really adding any quality time that makes up for the time that you would miss in a regular class period on a separate day. So I don't know that it's necessarily effective in that way. And also because they're having to stay later on those days, I don't know. I think it's debatable as to whether or not how it's really effective.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm Austin Petersen, speaking to Camellia Peterson.
And parents don't like it because it's free babysitting, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the issue. Anyway, yeah. The state is not your daddy. I do feel and empathize though for parents with that, because it's a sacrifice and it's hard if both parents are having to work, and in this economy, that's often the case.
Did you see that video of that woman from Kansas City who went to Minnesota and got shot in Minneapolis? Any thoughts on the Minneapolis ICE shooting?
Last night, just scrolling Twitter, I saw people all over both sides of this, right? I mean, people that I know and I trust their opinion were like, oh, it wasn't justified. And then there was lots of people that said it was. And, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to have an opinion on whether it was justified or not. It's hard to know, even just from the camera angles. But it looks like he felt like he was threatened. And if a vehicle is coming at you, like, what do you do? You've split second to think here.
So I looked it up. The Minneapolis Supreme Court even determined that a car is indistinguishable from like a Glock.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So you could treat a car, barreling at you the same way you would treat if somebody
why not?
Like,
it's a physical threat to your life.
But it kind of just speaks to the culture of the left, right? They're not going out and taking hardened warriors or veterans from Iraq and putting them on the front lines. They're taking these vulnerable, soft,
They play on their emotions.
Yeah, they play on their emotions.
Yeah.
This lady was a poet. She lived in Waldo in Kansas City for a number of years. She was a widow. She had a 6-year-old child. She should be at home with her child.
Yeah.
Right now this morning.
Yeah.
But they play on your emotions. The left plays on your emotions. And this Mayor Jacob Frey and Governor Tim Walz, they stir these people up, and then they point them like a gun at their enemies, perceived enemies, whoever they may be. And now one of them is dead. Now she's dead. And now what is Mayor Jacob Frey going to do? He's going to step right over her body to grab a microphone. They don't care. They don't care about us.
And when Walz, I heard the clip of Walz talking about, please, protest peacefully, but also you other states, you need to stand up with us.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. No, it's a terrible situation. But I mean, when you see all that fraud being committed in Minnesota, I mean, in my opinion, we got to get these people the hell out of our country, Camellia.
Yeah.
You can't defraud the taxpayers and send money to terrorist groups overseas and be an illegal immigrant in the United States and think that we're going to defend you or protect you. They should all go home.
I mean, I'm a big fan of legal immigration. I think we need to do it right. And, I do think that there is a time and a place to help with refugees. But I think when we talk about toxic sympathy, toxic compassion, right? That we have had that at a national level when it comes to, this idea that we are not only the police of the world, but we are the saviors of the world. And so, we take in everybody because nobody else wants to. And their culture is different. And so we created the environment for them to be able to come in here and take advantage of the system.
Right. And what they've taken people like this and put them into positions of power.
Yeah. Democratically controlled public housing is really important. And that's why when Raquel is talking about the communities and that she's describing, that, that's a created community where the people who are living there are like setting the agenda. And so, people like home ownership because they like control, and that's been perverted by like deep racism and deep classism in our society. So like we have to not have a racist and classist society. And so that's like something we need to think about like deeply. To me, it's about control, and why rent control is really important is because rent control alters the power dynamic between renters and who owns the building.
Right. So did you see this chick yesterday? She was getting asked questions probably for the first time in her life and was fleeing from the cameras in tears. I've never enjoyed such delicious liberal tears.
Bless their hearts. They live in such a bubble. Like you can tell when somebody has just not been exposed to people in different walks of life and, different worldviews. They talk about, people probably in my shoes being sheltered, but they're really the ones who are sheltered and living in their own little bubble of people.
Do you think that white liberal women are responsible for the explosion in woke politics?
Do I think that it's more prevalent? Sure.
Yeah.
I think there are some basic biological reasons for that, right? But as far as the tendency. But I don't know. I don't know if I could solely blame it on women. I think there are plenty of men who have been speeding that train along right alongside them. But yeah.
Okay. Well, this is an old acquaintance of mine who wrote an article arguing that the explosion in woke is because of white female liberal women. Let's take a listen.
But I am saying that feminization has caused one specific particular problem, and that is wokeness. Like a lot of people, I was baffled by the woke phenomenon. Why did everyone seemingly go crazy all at once in the summer of 2020? It was inexplicable. It seemed to be mass hysteria, genuinely. And the more I thought about what caused it, which is a very important question, because if we know what causes it, we know how to prevent it from happening in the future. I read an article that someone else wrote that put forward a really simple, elegant thesis, which is that wokeness is simply feminine patterns of behavior applied to institutions where women had not been very well represented until recently. Women tend to be more consensus-focused, consensus-oriented. Men, when they're approaching a moral question, will ask, what are the facts? What are the rules? Whereas women will say, what are the relationships at play here? How can we make everybody happy? How can we reach an outcome that will satisfy all the parties, as opposed to the male perspective of how do we reach an outcome that is just and according to the rules. That sounded a lot like wokeness to me. And the sort of piece that made it all click into place for me was the coincidence of timing. It is the case, just we can all agree as a matter of fact, that a lot of institutions that went woke or were affected by wokeness became demographically female in the last 5 years. Law schools in America turned majority female in 2016. And they've gotten a little bit more female every year since then. I think now it stands at 55, 56%. The New York Times became majority female in its workforce in 2018, which is maybe why it was so susceptible to the fads of wokeness and the internal policing and the Slack revolts that took place internally over there. Medical schools are now majority female. The white-collar workforce overall, employees in the United States with college degrees, a majority of them are women. And managers, management positions in the U.S. workforce, 46% female, so almost majority female. So the fact that all of these institutions tipped over to being majority female around the same time that wokeness emerged seemed to me that couldn't possibly be a coincidence. And one of the most consistent psychological differences between men and women is women have a strong impulse of caring, right? Which is exactly, I'm not somebody who looks to evolutionary biology for the solutions to all human phenomena, but this particular one does seem glaringly Darwinian, right? That women see helpless things and they want to take care of them. That is definitely something that Darwin would find a pretty easy explanation for. But that's also something that wokeness can easily weaponize. It means that if you can frame your political issue as a way of caring for some helpless class, then you're golden, right?
Minorities are babies.
That's right. But that is precisely what's going on at a deep.
So I guess my question is, Camellia, for you, based on that, or get your reaction to that, is what's wrong with you? What's wrong with all of you?
We got out of balance.
There's a lot to unpack there, right? She talks about evolutionary biology. This is an impulse of caring, right? Do you think that white female liberal women look at illegal immigrants like they would look at their babies if they had them?
Oh, well, I mean, maybe, except for I would say that in a lot of ways, I don't know that there's been a decline in sympathy for babies. I mean, if you look at the whole abortion issue.
Yeah, and like the chick who like launched her car at an ICE agent didn't care about her baby when she, was trying to protect
I mean, like they're the decision making, like your priorities are all out of whack when you make those kind of decisions where you don't care about, your own children as much as you care about fighting the man and fighting for, people that you don't know at all. Like, I mean, when you talk about, and this is why I think there's a spectrum, for men and women. Like some men are, more feminine, right? And I think that there's biological reasons for that too. But I think that some women probably have more masculine traits than other women. And in some ways, like some of those women are the women who end up in the nerdy, like I would say, people who like this end up in the nerdy, wonky, analytical side of things, probably have more of those masculine kind of traits that allow them to balance out that feminine, sympathetic, caring nature.
Is it better that women dominate these institutions? Should it be a balance, or was it better when men dominated these institutions like academia and law?
I mean, I think it needs to be a balance. I think part of our problem with this, even if it's a balance right now, part of our problem is so many of the men who are in academia are feminists. So, I mean, like you end up not solving the problem, just having there be like an even balance, because the men who are in there are not, say, the men of 50 years ago.
If it can't be equal, and it probably can't.
Yeah.
Which would you choose?
Probably men.
Really? Now I need a very long, drawn out. We've got 25 minutes left on this show.
Oh no,
Camellia, monologue for me. Yeah. We need to know.
No,
why.
I said men. Oh, for men to be in the majority?
Yeah, if you had to choose,
Yeah,
because equality is a lie, and you had to choose, you chose men. Why?
Yeah, no, I just think because men have, traits that make them more likely to be successful in viewing things analytically.
Oh boy.
And in a way.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
That takes everything into account to move forward. Like, it's just that it's probably a little bit more of an objective view of things. And women sometimes, we get a little lost in the details sometimes. We overthink things. But, that doesn't mean I'm not saying that there are not women who are not good leaders, because we absolutely have women who do a better job than some of the men out there. That's just the truth. But
the exceptions to the rule, what do
that's
they
right.
What do they do?
That's right. Well, and here's the thing.
rule.
This is back to when you talk about wokeness and whatever, really the root of all of it is a lack of meritocracy, right? It's because we are not putting people in positions based on their merits and their skills and their strengths. So, I think that's probably, if we were truly doing that, we would not be in this boat because we wouldn't have been giving preference to women-owned businesses, and we wouldn't be giving preference to in HR to one ethnicity or gender or anything above another. I think that's really the root of a lot of this.
Okay, so yes, but we now live in a scenario where it's the opposite of what you would prefer. These institutions are now female dominated, and now we see the outcomes of that, which leads us to a situation where a woman from Kansas City drives Minneapolis, to start a new life, to escape the tyranny of this red state, and now she's dead because she believed a lie that the politicians told her. She thought that her ideology was going to act like body armor, and it did, and now she's dead because woke academia, woke politicians, and the left have created this feeling of invincibility amongst them, right? Because the thing is that most of you women, thankfully, perhaps, but maybe not thankfully, have never had explicit violence done to you. Okay, there's a seminal moment in every man's life, and it usually starts on the playground as a kid. You got a bully or whatever, right? Where explicit violence is done to you. Normally, it doesn't happen because you're necessarily fully innocent, right? As a matter of fact, I think I remember the first time that I had my head ground into the rocks on the playground was specifically because I was talking shit. Not much has changed, but I did. Now I've learned martial arts, but I was talking shit. I was writing checks in my mouth was writing checks in my butt. My fist couldn't cash. And I got my face shoved into the rocks, right? I didn't instigate the fight, but it didn't matter because I learned that if you're going to talk shit, you better be able to back it up.
Yeah.
But I've seen so many videos from subways and from on the streets where these women are put into situations where it's very clear they've never had any kind of a check on them. So how do we check women without going back to the Sean Connery slap a hoe kind of situation, right? I don't think anybody wants to go back to that, but without that, we get, right? I'd love to live in a nonviolent world. We don't live in a nonviolent world. So what should we do?
I think
How do we wake you ladies up to reality?
I think now this is something that I told my kids all growing up is there's this thing called natural consequences, and I cannot save you from the consequences of your behavior. Mm-hmm. And there's some things that are just going to happen. And I think that, in a lot of ways, we have to learn the lesson the hard way. And so when things like this happen, I hope that it doesn't take a lot of it for, other people that are kind of in the same bubble that this woman was to look at that and say, oh, look what can happen as a result of doing these kind of things. And even if they don't say, oh, she was wrong for doing that, they can say, I don't want to put myself at risk for that. Because I think that's the first step, is recognizing that this is not something worth, going out there and putting your life on the line for, because you literally can be, because there are circumstances that are beyond your control, and emotions take over and stuff happens.
But so how do you, I guess, let's say you have a female judge and, she's still young. So once a month she turns a little irrational.
Oh my word.
Hey, you're the one who said that women have that emotional thing. I'm just following the consequences of your logic here.
I also said there were exceptions.
Yeah, there are exceptions. But I mean, writ large, right? Should a female judge then be an exception and not a rule?
I mean, I think that usually women who are in that line of work do tend toward, they have those analytical, traits.
Have you seen female cops?
Well, I mean, yes.
Do they tend towards those same traits
as
female judges?
The ones that get the attention are probably the ones who don't. But there's probably a lot of them out there who are not getting, making the news, who are, they're doing their job and they're doing it well. That's why you don't hear about them. It's because they're doing it well.
Right. No, I'm just trying to sort of.
I know.
I'm just trying. I asked you a question. You said that you would prefer it be equal in these institutions: academia, police, the military. The law.
I mean, right? I don't expect it to be equal.
You don't expect it to be equal. You would like it to be equal.
I don't know. Like, I want it to be like whoever's best suited for the position.
Right. But do you agree with Helen Andrews here? This video clip that we just watched, that the feminization of our society has come because women have taken over these institutions, that these woke outcomes.
Sure. And I think it's because we've tried to force it to be equal with women, that we forced women who were not qualified into positions. And so I think that's, where things really, went off kilter, is because that equality with the feminist movement was so important that it didn't matter whether or not you were skilled enough or deserved that position. You were just giving preference because of your gender. I think that's really where things got out of whack.
If you're just tuning in to the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm Austin Petersen. We're being misogynist with Camellia.
Okay, so this is really off topic, but okay. You said misogynist. Yeah. I experienced my first mouse race the other night.
What is that?
I know, right?
What is a mouse race?
Okay, so here's the thing. In all of my life in Southwest Missouri, I've never, ever heard of this. And clearly you have not either.
Yeah.
So when I went over for AFP, like on the eastern side of the state, I started hearing about these mouse races for fundraisers. I was like, what in the world? I was like fascinated, a little horrified, but really fascinated, wanted to go, never got to go. So for the first time, I was able to go to a mouse race the other night for a fundraiser. And you pay to name a mouse. And then they're enclosed in this little thing. I posted it on my Twitter, so if you want to see something about this, go to my Twitter. But then the mice are in these little rows that's enclosed, and they are released, and they race to the other end. And so it is the most hick Missouri thing ever.
Honestly, I think I prefer cockfighting to something like that. At least cockfighting is masculine.
Well, I would like for you to know. So I would like for you to know that I named 4 mice, and among those was Milton Friedmouse.
Fudge. Did you bet on these mice? Was there betting at least?
I believe there was also betting. There was there was all kinds of stuff. I don't know.
Wait a minute. No, wait. We just legalized sports betting here in Missouri, didn't we?
Yeah, no, mice is sport.
Oh my God.
So anyway, there was a mouse that was racing in the final round against Milton Friedmouse, whose name was Misogynist Pig. And this poor little mouse, bless his heart, he was the fastest one in there. I kid you not. But I say it was a he. I don't know. It may have been a she.
Amy,
but it ran all the way, almost got to be it, and then turned around and ran all the way back, and Milton Friedmouse won because the misogynist pig couldn't figure it out.
Is it more hick than pig races? Asks Amy J. Easley. Not quite. Thanks for so much for tuning in to the Wake Up America show this morning. We got a lot to do. We still got to give away a prize. We got to play the Great Grift Off Liberty Loot Live. Now, Camellia, you're welcome to join and play with us as well. We also have the bonus content and stuff, so we've got to get this all together. So I just need a quick little break. Don't go away. When we come back, it's time for the bonus content. We're going to play a game.
When the Founding Fathers dreamed of liberty, they forgot one thing: coffee. Introducing Founding Flavors Coffee, the brew that built America, and the brew that's fueling a new revolution, one kitchen at a time. Small batch roasted, Patriot approved, and disappearing faster than a red coat at Yorktown. Don't get left behind, soldier. Real patriots are starting their mornings with Founding Flavors. And trust us, freedom tastes better with a fresh cup in your hand. Stop drinking those tyrant brews who take your money and don't support your values. Stocks are limited, demand is booming, and your morning deserves a taste of liberty. Order now at forlibertyshop.com before the next shipment gets signed, sealed, and sold out. Founding Flavors Coffee, the official brew of morning rebellions everywhere. Get yours at forlibertyshop.com. Legend has it, back in 1773, a band of angry, overtaxed patriots stormed a British ship, found the king's favorite tea, and said, "This would taste better without the tyranny." Then they tossed it overboard. Fast forward to today. That revolutionary spirit lives on in Boston Harbor Black, the boldest brew in the For Libert tea lineup. It's dark, it's smooth, it's unapologetically American, just like the folks who drink it. Whether you're sweetening it up on the front porch or drinking it straight like a Minuteman before battle, this isn't tea for royalty, it's tea for rebels.
Welcome back to Wake Up America Show. I'm your host, Austin Petersen. Camellia Peterson is here with me in studio. Hi, CJ.
Wasn't paying attention.
It's fine. With the bonus content unlocked, it's time to play the Great Grift Off. We're going to be giving away a Thompson submachine gun today on the Wake Up America Show. I believe you, but my Tommy gun don't. If you want to play the game with us today, it's really simple. Join us in the Great Grift Off by heading to crowdparty.app. That's crowdparty.app. Crowdparty.app. Head to the shop. Camellia beat you all. And if she wins, she gets to take the Tommy gun home. Don't let her win. We're playing random trivia today. Go to crowdparty.app. Everybody is welcome to join us at crowdparty.app. You'll have to enter in that code that you see on the screen, 52059. We can have up to 50 players. Up to 50 players can join us live right now, playing the Great Grift Off Liberty Loot Live. Go to crowdparty.app, type in 52059. That's 52059. Go to crowdparty.app. We've got 4 out of 50 players. We can handle up to 50. I think the most we've ever had was like 14. Cecilia, we'll see you later. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Don't be shy. If you're watching us from home and you've never seen the show before, you're like, what the hell is going on? I don't know if I want to do this, but it sounds intriguing.
It's fun.
It is fun. Just go to crowdparty.app on your phone or on your browser or on your iPad or whatever. Go to crowdparty.app, type in that code, and we're going to play a little trivia game on your phone. And if you win, you're going to win a Thompson submachine gun. So head to crowdparty.app. That's crowdparty.app. And I'm going to hit the button, which is the Squid Game button. It's the 30-second countdown. Once I hit this 30-second countdown button, you'll have 30 seconds to get your booty into the game so that you can play and try and win a nice Thompson submachine gun. So go to crowdparty.app now. You have officially 30 seconds until the game begins. Go to crowdparty.app, type in the code 52059, and riddle me this. Describe a challenging situation, Camellia, you've been in, and tell us how you resolved it.
Oh, well, that was out of the blue. A challenging situation. Oh my gosh.
It's a job interview.
No, like, right? I mean, I suck at interviews. Like, no lie. Like, this is why, because they're like, think of a scenario where you did this and what did you do? I'm like,
don't worry. We'll let you off the hook and start the game. What do you say? Let's go. All right. 90s music party trivia. Get the right answer. Which R&B group sang No Diggity in 1996? Boyz II Men, Blackstreet, Destiny's Child, or TLC? You've got 8, 7, 6, 5. Don't worry. It's random trivia. So they're not all going to be 90s music. It was Blackstreet.
Oh, I actually got that.
You did? Oh, hey, all right. But did you get it first? Let's see.
No, I'm sure not.
Turned on the autoplay. Derelict got it first. Derelict, number 1. Oh, yeah. Which is the best-selling video game of all time? Grand Theft Auto, Zelda, Tetris, or Super Mario Brothers?
Ooh. I just picked one that I thought, but I actually think it might be the other one.
Yep, it's Tetris. Which one did you pick?
Oh, geez. I did Zelda. Anything about Tetris, that makes sense, though.
Yeah.
I play Tetris all the time.
Well, they packaged it in with games, so.
Yeah.
What is the name of the international agreement that divides the Avengers? The Global Security Pact, the Sokovia Accords, the Avengers Protocol, or the SHIELD Act?
Marvel Agents of...
I have no idea.
Oh, come on.
Truth, Justice, and the American Way?
Oh, well.
The Sokovia Accords.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I didn't even know that.
I have watched that.
Finish the lyrics. Sleep tonight, sleep tomorrow, but tonight go baby, hazy, crazy, or lazy.
I'm going to go lazy.
That would be a more interesting choice than probably the obvious choice here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Crazy. All 15 got that one, yes. Ashley Ann is number 1. David Lee number 2. Derek number 3. 2024 Rewind Party. Who won the Euro 2024 UEFA Championship? Turkey, Spain, Germany, or England?
UEFA. I don't even know what UEFA is.
I don't either.
Is it like MMA?
It's
or I don't know.
Is it soccer?
Is it fighting? I don't know.
Spain, and most people got it. Wow. Ashley Ann,
somebody should tell us what that is.
How does Ashley Ann have such incredible knowledge? Where would you find a massive white horse carved into the hillsides? Greece, Sweden, England, or Germany?
I have no idea.
No clue.
Oh, I was wrong.
England. I think I've seen that before. Ashley Ann still strong at number 1. Captain Tight Pants could still challenge her. Round 7 of 12. Which nuts are used to make marzipan? Hazelnuts? Chestnuts? You should know this.
Yeah.
Miss Pie Queen.
Yes. I may be wrong about this,
almonds,
though. I don't do anything with marzipan.
Almonds.
That's what I thought.
Ashley
Look,
Ann
it got me into 10th place.
Ashley Ann still feeling strong. Picture trivia. Name the flag. Ooh, that's interesting. I mean, it looks like something of Great Britain. Fiji, Palau, Honduras, or New Zealand?
I pick the most odd one on there.
It was Fiji. Fiji, really? I mean, I guess it makes sense. There's palm trees on there. Nathan came back up. Ashley Ann is getting dominated now. Disney and Pixar. Trivia. Which one of these words does Ariel not sing in Part of Your World? What's-its, gizmos, thingamabobs, or doohickeys? I've got what's-its and gizmos aplenty. You want thingamabobs? I've got a doohickeys. It was doohickeys. Duh, what's wrong with you? Oh, Ashley Ann, she's strong, coming back strong. Eat it, David Lee. We're on round 10 of 12. Trivia, get the right answer. The Battle of the Somme in World War I took place in which country? Italy, Austria, France, or Germany? The Battle of the Somme. I mean, Somme. I mean, come on. Somalia. Ashley Ann wants a Thompson submachine gun. Name Italy's most popular frozen dessert. Was it gelato, sorbet, frozen yogurt, or icky cream? Oh, Ashley Ann and Nathan are like, and then Captain Tiber, they're like neck and neck. This is it. Last round. Disney Pixar trivia. Which scout group is Russell a part of? Wilderness Explorer, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, or Wilderness Crusader?
Well, I don't understand this question.
It's a Disney Pixar question.
Oh, okay.
I think it's from the movie Up.
No idea.
Wilderness Explorer.
Oh, random good guess.
Let's see who the winner is. The winner of a Thompson submachine gun is Ashley Ann with Captain Tight Pants at number 2. Ashley, you were the winner of a Thompson submachine gun. Congratulations. Send us a text at 573-319-1586, and we will send you your very own Thompson submachine gun. What?
Is this real?
Yeah. What do you mean, is it real? I'll show it to you.
Okay.
In the garage before you go.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
It could have been your Thompson submachine gun.
Bummer.
Actually, I know. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thompson submachine gun headed to Ashley Ann. Ashley, send us your text. You're going to need to fill out an FFA form. Is an FFA form? What do they call it? It's the you'll have to fill out like a transfer thing for the gun thing. All right. And enjoy the bonus content. Camellia, thanks so much for hanging out.
Yeah,
everybody
fun.
say thank you, Camellia. And we'll see you guys right back again here tomorrow. What is today? Thursday? That means Culturama is tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you watch Daniela. She is Marilyn Monroe with a master's degree, part of the For Liberty Network at rumble.com/Culturama. And we'll see you back again here tomorrow for Freedom Family Friday on the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network.
Federal red tape plunges under Trump. The president is making real progress on deregulation, but he needs to get Congress involved. Among the high points of President Donald Trump's first administration was his push to rein in the administrative state and reduce the regulatory burden on businesses and individuals. The president seems to have carried his deregulatory instincts over to his second term, which is an encouraging sign. Unfortunately, he's also continued his taste for unilateral action, often carried out through executive orders. If that continues, it will be all too easy for future administrations to undo any gains. Regulation isn't just an annoyance, it's a prosperity killer. At the end of 2024, the MetLife and U.S. Chamber of Commerce Small Business Index found that 51% of small businesses say navigating regulatory compliance requirements is negatively impacting their growth, and that almost as many, 47%, say their business spends too much time fulfilling regulatory compliance requirements. With the affordability of housing a major concern, the National Association of Home Builders warns that regulations account for nearly 25% of the cost of a single-family home. It's encouraging to see a president attempt to reduce red tape. While Biden's 2024 Federal Register totaled 1,609 pages, the highest in history, the 2025 volume closed the year with only 61,461 pages, adjusted for blanks and skips. The lowest seen since Trump's first-term tally of 61,067, reports the Competitive Enterprise Institute's Clyde Wayne-Cruz in an end-of-year analysis of the Trump administration's regulatory policies. Both are levels otherwise not seen since 1993. Notably, 7,648 of those pages are attributable to Biden-era activity before Trump's inauguration. True, the Federal Register is only a rough count of regulatory activity. There are other ways the government imposes red tape on the population. Also, the Administrative Procedure Act requires that a rule be issued to repeal a pre-existing rule. Theoretically, you could fatten up the Federal Register with nothing but rule rescissions. But the page count is a good starting point for judging the general direction of regulatory activity. On that point, Trump offers a real contrast to both his predecessor and his successor in the White House. Prior to the Biden administration, Ballotpedia reports, the Federal Register hit an all-time high of 95,194 pages in 2016, under the presidency of Barack Obama. The Law Librarian Society of Washington, D.C. puts it at 97,110 pages. That was the first time it exceeded 90,000 pages. The Biden administration broke a new barrier when it exceeded 100,000 pages in 2024. Of course, the rules those pages represent, offset by whatever unrules, delays, and rescission, are mixed in, accumulate year after year. Cruz comments that not only is the Federal Register page count down, but final rule counts cratered to 2,241 in 2025. That is not only substantially down from Biden's 3,248 in 2024, it is the lowest total since record-keeping began in the mid-1970s. Of the rules issued under Trump, 243 actually began life under Biden, and many of the rules issued were unrules delaying or rescinding existing red tape. Cruz doesn't address the details of rules and rule rescissions issued during Trump's first year back in office. To wade further into the weeds, see the Brookings Institution, which notes, As the Trump administration returns to office for a second term with renewed deregulatory ambitions, the executive branch and its agencies are implementing significant policy changes. Brookings maintains a regulatory tracker which provides background information and status updates on a curated selection of significant regulatory and deregulatory changes made by the Trump administration. So, it looks like the second Trump administration is off to a decent start in keeping its January 2025 promise to promote prudent financial management and alleviate unnecessary regulatory burdens by ensuring that, for each new regulation issued, at least 10 prior regulations be identified for elimination. Trump's first term made similar commitments as reviewed in 2020 for the Cato Institute by Keith B. Belton and John D. Graham. They concluded the flow of new regulations was much smaller compared to previous administrations, and that the administration was somewhat effective in working with Congress to enact deregulation through legislation. But Trump's effectiveness as a deregulator has been hampered by a lack of political appointees in key regulatory agencies and a skeptical judicial branch dominated by judges appointed under Democratic administrations. Among the challenges the first Trump administration faced, Belton and Graham noted, was that by leaving many executive branch offices unfilled, the management of agencies and the enactment of the administration's policies was left in the hands of career staff who didn't necessarily agree with the deregulatory program. Without the assistance of agency career staff, it is unlikely that deregulatory rulemakings will be completed in a judicially defensible manner. The second Trump administration has made better progress filling key offices. That should help with implementing a deregulatory agenda, but if it remains a matter of enacting memos from the boss, that leaves regulatory reform to be undone by a future president. CEI's Cruz warns that Trump's deregulatory achievements remain vulnerable in the current term. Trump 2.0 has leaned heavily on executive orders, 225 in all, to reverse Biden's politicized mandates on climate, DEI, financial disclosure, labor, energy, and more. But regulatory restraint that relies on presidential discretion is fragile, since executive orders can usually, though not always, be rescinded as easily as they are issued. The real test ahead is whether deregulation will be made durable by Congress or be left to the whims of the executive office holder, Cruz emphasizes. Unfortunately for the Trump project, meaningful reform requires more than freezes and ratios. Congress needs to make the Unrules project permanent and to end the laundering of regulation by means other than the conventional rules featured in this roundup. At a time when the regulatory burden in the United States is hampering businesses and raising costs for Americans, Trump and his team have emphasized cutting red tape and setting the economy free. They've made a good start in that direction with a greatly reduced volume of regulations. But a lasting deregulatory legacy requires getting Congress on board so that reform can be enacted into law and put beyond the whims of presidents to come.